You know, this is pretty sad to see. Like, sure, Blue Sky Studios may have not been the greatest animation studio of all time, and their movies weren't that amazing or anything. In fact, they didn't even make that many movies, only like 13, and like 5 of them were Ice Age movies. But that doesn't mean people don't have fond memories of watching their movies. I have fond memories of watching their movies when I was a kid. Whether it be like watching Rio on my portable DVD player when my mom took me to her job, or getting really excited to see the Peanuts movie in theaters, and yes, even watching the Ice Age movies, including the sequels. I was into them when I was a kid.
Get to the review already!
Alright, just hold your horses, I'm getting there, just be patient. All I'm trying to say is, I grew up with many of Blue Sky Studios movies, and in honor of them today, I want to look back on one that I loved watching as a kid. It might have been my favorite out of their entire filmography. That movie being Robots from 2005. So, going into this movie, I was so scared that it wasn't going to be as good as I remember, because I said I loved this movie as a kid. But when I look back at the stuff I loved watching as a child, most of it is pretty terrible. Like, for God's sakes, this is a game that on the Wii that I played a lot, so clearly my standards weren't that high. But thankfully, this movie actually still holds up pretty well. It's nothing amazing or groundbreaking or anything, but it was generally pretty good and I had a lot of fun with it. Story-wise, this movie's pretty simple. It has the message of follow your dreams, and it doesn't matter what you look like. They're not bad or anything, they're just pretty simple, but again, it works fine. A big part about this movie, though, is that it takes place in a world where everyone is a robot. Why? I like to believe it's because it takes place in the future where robots overtook society and killed all of us humans and or made us slaves. Or it could be some other reason, I don't know. There is one aspect of the story that I really like, is that there's this whole big part of the movie where the robots are afraid that if they can't find spare parts and can't afford big, new, shiny upgrades, they become out modes and then they're sent to the chop shop, which is this big factory where they use scrap metal and, of course, unfixable robots to create basically the materials made to create the upgrades that This is really dark when I say it, but yeah, I find that aspect kind of interesting, and I think it totally works with the whole them being robots thing. It actually kind of adds to the story, in my opinion, and also it kind of makes this world really messed up with, like, especially the villain Ratchet. He doesn't want to sell spare parts, he wants everyone to just buy shiny new, upgrades, and if they can't look all shiny and new, he basically wants them to die and send them to the chop shop. That's really messed up when you think about it. However, this movie does not make you think about how messed up the world is because it is a comedy. And I think most of the jokes work pretty well. Like, not all of them were amazing, but there were some that genuinely made me laugh. However, I should talk about some of the jokes that don't work. Like, there's this character, Aunt Fanny, and the whole joke with her is that she has a big butt. That's the only joke. I swear this is a kid's movie, by the way. And there are two scenes that I want to talk about. There is one where, like, the entire joke is that, like, the characters are doing arm farts, which I don't know how that works because, they're metal. And then at the end, it ends with, like, Aunt Fanny making a real fart and everyone going, like, oh, that smells. And honestly, that scene was kind of, like, just really unfunny, and it was kind of hard to sit through. But thankfully, it was actually followed by a pretty funny joke. And there's one scene that I laughed so hard as when I was a kid. It was when, like, they're fighting the evil robots during the climactic scene. And Bender, he just starts dancing to the Britney Spears song. The one that goes, hit me, baby, one more time. And then he starts hitting the robots. That was the funniest thing to me as a kid. And now rewatching it, now that I'm older, I still laughed at it. I don't know if maybe because I thought it was like, oh, look, I'm laughing at it ironically, like, it's so cringy, it's what, like that, or if I genuinely, I don't know, but I should mention that. But yeah, besides that, the comedy in this movie is pretty good. I should also probably talk about the animation, and thankfully, the animation didn't age badly. It looks pretty great, honestly. Like, I love the designs of, like, the robot city and, like, the modes of transportation they use. It looks really great. And what I especially love about this movie are the robot designs themselves. Like, I've always been fascinated with robots when I was a kid. And I don't mean, like, movie. I mean, like, the machines, like, in movies, TV shows, cartoons, stuff like that. And some of my favorite robot designs, I think, are from this movie. That could just be nostalgia talking, but I don't care. I love the way the robots look in this. Like, immediately, if I see a picture of, like, Rodney, Bigwell, Ratchet, Madame Gasket, which I'll get to her soon, but so the point is, if I see a picture of those characters, I immediately go, oh, I know where that's from Robots. And I think that's a sign that you have a good character design. Like, when you see it, you immediately know where it's from or who it is. I think that's pretty cool. Again, I might not know because I'm not a character designer, but I do think that's a good sign. And yeah, I just love the way the robots look. I love their designs, and you know, again, that could just be nostalgia talking because I grew up with this movie, but I don't care. I love these robot designs, and I think they're some of my favorite like robot designs that I've ever seen. The point is, I just like robots, and I like the way they look, you know? Now it's time to talk about the characters. The main protagonist, Rodney Copperbot, he's fine, but he isn't the most interesting. Like, his whole thing is that he wants to be an inventor, and that's kind of all I remember. For the most part, like, yeah, he's not a terrible character, he's just not the most memorable. And another character that I want to talk about is Fender. I think he's kind of annoying. Like, sometimes he'll have a funny line, but for the most part, I couldn't stand him. But yeah, like I say, he's pretty annoying. And there are some characters that I said I love their designs, but I barely remember them or like their names. Like, I remember Piper and like some of the other friends that like Rodney made. I don't remember their names. I only remember Piper's name because like she has a little bit more stuff to do, but for the most part they do nothing, and I don't like that because I love their designs, and sometimes they say funny lines, but I want them to do more things. And there's especially another character that is done really badly, is the love interest played by Halle Berry. I don't remember her name. All I remember is that she's played by Halle Berry, and she's supposed to be the love interest. You would think she would get a lot of development, but she doesn't. She just goes like, okay, that's Rodney. Then the second scene we see her, oh, okay, support him, and then so she helps him escape like Ratchet and his goons, and then later they go like, oh, I guess we're boyfriend and girlfriend now. That's it. It's really like that. That is some terrible love development, or is that even the right term? I don't know. I'm really stupid. The point is, yeah, that wasn't that great. But there is one character in this movie that I absolutely love, that being Madame Gasket. So I think I said earlier that Ratchet is like the villain, but he's actually working for someone else, that being his mom, Madame Gasket. I absolutely love her. Like, I love her design. She's like this big robot with fire coming out of her head, and like she runs the chop shop like she's the leader of it, of like this factory. And I don't know why I think this is hilarious. So she's voiced by Jim Broadbent, a man, and I don't know why that's funny to me, women being voiced by men, like Tina and Linda from Bob's Burgers, Dr. Girlfriend from Venture Brothers, Doris from the Shrek movies. That's just hilarious to me, like a man voicing a woman, and like here it's hilarious. Like, I love her. Like, she's like this insane robot who wants to, you know, right, kill the other robots that are defective, and she like also really cares about her son, and it's like really hilarious. And like, I just love her for main reason because she's voiced by Jim Broadbent. I don't know why that's hilarious to me, but hey, I just love Madame Gasket. So in conclusion, Robots is a pretty good movie that I thought was pretty fun. I'm not trying to convince you like this is the greatest animated movie of all time or a hidden gem up there with the best of Disney, Pixar, or even the best of DreamWorks. I just think this was a fun movie, and it definitely still holds up. Like, there are some parts that aren't as good as I remember, but for the most part, I still enjoyed it. I thought the comedy was pretty good, the animation was great, I love the robot designs, like the character designs, and Madame Gasket was amazing. And overall, just a really fun movie. And this isn't meant to be like a whole like, oh, Robots is actually better than you think. It's just, I just wanted to talk about a movie from my childhood that I really like, and I still do, in honor of course, Blue Sky Studios. Like I said before, they may not have been the greatest animation studio. In fact, I don't think most of their movies were up there with like the greatest. Like, I think they relied too much on Ice Age movies, in my opinion. But I'm not gonna lie and say that I didn't grow up with their movies, or that I didn't enjoy them, or I didn't have some fun with them, because I have. And yeah, I guess not a lot will change now that they're gone, since the movies were never groundbreaking hits or anything, but it will still be sad. Hopefully all the people who, you know, work there can find a new job somewhere else, or maybe someplace better. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But overall, thank you Blue Sky Studios for making pretty good movies that I watched as a kid, and I still kinda enjoy now, so thank you.